So today we have Tarun with us. He is a part of the beta program for almost 8, 9 months. Welcome and thank you so much for participating in our beta program. Tarun, grateful for the trust that you have put on us on an app which is still undergoing testing, is not a proven app, but trusting us with your investment journey on that. Grateful for that. First of all, if you can tell our viewers a bit about yourself, अपने बारे में थोड़ा सा कुछ बताइए. What has been your investment journey?
So yeah, hi. Thanks for inviting me for this and Bugs program. It has been really helpful for me. So I actually heard about this Bugs program from you itself, and since we have worked together in the past, I sort of trust your judgment, and that's the reason I sort of got onboarded to the Bugs program. A little bit about myself: I am a software engineer by profession. I'm currently working at Microsoft, and apart from that, I'm a beginner in the investing journey, I would say. It's been around 2, 3 years, but yeah, it's just starting for me. One thing that I have realized in this journey is like it could be anything, like the emotional decisions that we make that sort of mess up our entire progress that we do in this specific journey. So when I heard about this specific tool from you, that this is focusing mostly on helping users avoid these exact mistakes, it sort of resonated with me. And I thought, why not give it a try? So I thought of this tool as not just like a tool, but help myself improve my investing habits and eventually contribute to the tool as well. So yeah.
Yes, yes, and thanks for again for participating in this beta program where we get a lot of feedback and ideas from users who use it. Tell us now a bit about your investment journey with aaidee. So you already touched upon, but if you can elaborate a bit upon how aaidee has helped you in your investment journey.
So what I have like observed in my investing journey is usually what I used to do is like I used to hold a stock for and completely forget about it. But usually that is one of the problems I would say like in the investing journey that I have observed by not being proactive on tracking the markets, tracking things what are going around and making decisions at the right time. Specifically for people like me who are part of a full-time job, they usually don't have that much time to invest or track the market constantly. So what I feel is tools like aaidee gives that confidence to stay on track without getting caught up in the noise. So that's one thing that has like helped me.
Yeah.
Overall, if I talk about my experience with aaidee specifically to the investments, the experience has been really positive. One thing that I appreciate is the seamless setup that is there, like the integration with Telegram, the integration with Zerodha. So it hardly takes me a few minutes to check in the updates or take any action on the platform. So it usually never feels like a overhead or another task that I need to manage. It's like a few minutes daily in the evening. Now I have built up that muscle memory. Like around 6 p.m., I'll be getting a notification. I need to do these exact 2, 3 steps and I'm done for the day. That is like good part about the tool.
Yeah, glad that has helped you think about that discipline. And you rightly said, a lot of us who have a day job, it's difficult to constantly track the market. Even though advice is, once you invest, don't even look at the market, don't track the market, do it for the long term. Human beings being human beings, it's impossible to not get affected by the emotions. Okay? So people will look at it, and that's where aaidee comes in. I think that we don't tell you don't look at the market, but look at it so that you don't hurt yourself. Otherwise, what happens is when people start to look at the market on a daily or a weekly basis and spend, obviously they end up spending a lot of time again, which is very unhealthy in terms of their own mental state and also in terms of other stuff that they have to do. So here the effort is to build a tool which can take away that load, number one, and also provide emotional support or guardrails so that we do not make those mistakes of too much actions harmful to investments. Tarun, so you've used the app for some time now and almost 8 months. Is there anything particular about the app that stands out to you? This is one feature or even the philosophy of the app which stands out.
Yeah, as I covered, like it's the part that removes the emotional aspect of investing, right? Everything is system driven. So usually when the market goes up, we start feeling like it might go much more higher and then we should sell. And if the market is going down, we might think like it might go more down and then we should buy it. So the specific thing that I like about tool is you don't need to take decisions over it. So the decisions are completely system driven. You can simply rely on the system and let it decide when to sell, when to buy, and that like completely makes it stand out among the other tools that I was using earlier. So it gives me like a proper structured, I would say a timely guidance, and I don't need to really stress or do any sort of analysis before making that decision. I simply rely on the tool. Decisions are helpful. I feel the tool as a reliable source, I would say. But at the same time, since I have been on this platform for only like 9, 10 months now, initially like I invested on the large cap stocks that were available, and I found that the tool performs much better when we start investing in small caps or mid cap, because large cap the volatility is quite less compared to the other stocks that we have in available for us. So
Mhm.
I've recently like started investing in one of the small cap stocks, and
Mhm.
I'm assuming that it should give me better returns.
And that's a feature of the app, you could say. Initially, we don't want people to get too much into the high volatility, high beta stocks. Reason being simple is at least understand the product, because you have worked with the product for 6, 7 months earlier, and then now you have this confidence how it works. Then it
Correct.
makes sense to slowly and steadily, because someone gets into the small cap. Obviously, small caps and mid caps are by nature very, very, very volatile, and there's a big chance that the investment can go completely haywire. It's good to take those baby steps, understand the product. And also for us, because we're at the beta stage, it makes sense for us to onboard people slowly and steadily so that they understand the product first and only then start to take those larger calls. One thing which you feel are lacking in ID, because you've used other apps and systems. So anything which you feel will add value to your own investment journey and to other users, or anything you might have thought about, okay, if this was there in ID, it would have made life easier for you.
Yeah, I was like thinking to share this feedback to you, but yeah, I think I can do it now. And I'm
Absolutely.
not really sure if it's already in your backlog or not. So, like, one thing that I've observed that users might be having their investment on multiple platforms, and they might not be willing to move all their investments to ID on the day one itself. So
Absolutely.
let's say I'm holding a stock on another brokerage and I'm planning to sell it, let's say. If I could input the buy price and the basic details about my investment, or let's say when I bought that specific stock, and if ID could suggest me, so currently it comes with the next best action for the upcoming day. In similar way, if it could suggest what could be the next best action that I should perform for my other investments as well, it
Got it.
could help me come up with that decision making process for the other investments I already have. So I think that would be super helpful. And we could use the system expertise or the behavioral management that ID currently does, whatever the market behavior is or whatever the ID strategy is.
Mhm.
We could leverage it for the entire pool of holdings that we have. It will be very helpful.
Yeah, I think that's obviously it's a fantastic suggestion, and obviously for us it's validation that people want to use it for other systems. Obviously, there are regulations and things we'll have to be cognizant of, but as a suggestion and whatever can be done, we will look at it. So, so on that note, Tarun, you've been investing for 3, 4 years, and you are one of those the generation who has been sort of born into this equity market, which is technology driven. So if you might have heard stories 20 years ago, people were actually on the ring of the stock exchanges where everything was physical. The auction used to happen on the ground and everyone knew each other. Today it's completely anonymous, so you don't know who you're buying it from. So that's one. Then today also with the technology, AI, bots, and everything, that generation. What would be your advice or what are your observations to any new investor who is planning to start off the investment journey? And what I also commend you, on is on your belief and your uh, maturity to not get into those short term. People get swayed by these short term returns promises, and then they burn their fingers. Here we are talking about completely long term value investing. So what would be your advice to people planning to join the equity markets at this point of time?
Yeah, I think that's a nice question. Though I don't
Hmm.
consider myself that experienced, but yeah, one
Yeah.
thing that I have learned And I would like to share, like, for both the new investors and the long term investors who have been in the industry for quite some time. So, like, the discipline is something that really matters. It's like more important than the timing or the stock picking that we do. So, like, it's easy to get caught up in excitement or, let's say, panic when the market is going down. But the real difference comes when we are, you know, consistently following a process and not taking any sort of emotional decisions. So that's like a sort of advice for the new investors. At the same time, for the people who have been like quite experienced in this field, I feel like taking no action is not discipline as well. So just holding a stock forever and not reevaluating these strategies, I think that could be a miss in like having your better
Missing opportunities.
returns. Yeah.
Yes.
So I think tools like aaidee will help you be active.
Yeah. I think that's a fantastic observation. So, what was long term, that buy and forget uh, theory or of investing would have worked uh, a number of years ago.
Yes.
But today, with the influences that we have in today's market, where things are happening very fast, where fortunes. So basically, what happens is when you have because all investments are finally tied to the fortunes of a company. In the olden times, companies would have this vision of at least 50 years, 100 years plan. So long-term investment obviously made sense. Today, when companies, technology changes so fast, 5 years, 10 years is the average age of any technology. So if you get into an investment and you forget it for 10 years, 10 years later, you might find that company doesn't even exist. Okay, there's a high chance. So I'm not saying keep a long-term investing. Obviously, long-term investing is there. At least review it. You don't want to review it every week, at least quarterly or a year annually. Yeah, that review in today's day and age is a prerequisite. And I think that's very sane advice coming